Hello and welcome. I'm glad you could be with me tonight. I have the privilege and honor and the fun of getting to interview the Minnesota Teacher of the Year 2025. Her name, as you may have heard on the news, Linda Wallenberg. She is with the Eden Prairie High School, teaching 9th grade English.
And 12th grade as well.
And 12th grade, as she's explaining. She goes by the name Wally, which I said to my crew, that's a real clue that she is a fun guest, I bet, to interview. So anyone that goes with a nickname gets a check in my book. So welcome to
Thank
the
you.
show.
Glad to be here. Honored to be here.
Congratulations to have this honor. It's a big one. You've been nominated before, though, so I bet you were not totally shocked when you were nominated again and then won.
I actually was pretty shocked when I was nominated and was a finalist in 2005. That was a parent who nominated me. This time it was a student of mine, a student who was in my 9th grade honors and in my AP literature. So I call those students bookend kids. So I was very, very humbled and honored, and I think maybe if it wouldn't have been a student, I might have thought twice about the process. Sort of in the sunset of my career, it seems like I didn't think there was even a possibility of someone at sort of the vintage level I am to speak for teachers all over the state. So,
well, it is a responsibility. Does it mean, Linda, that you will not be able to teach this next year because you'll be on the road going to other schools to share?
Oh, absolutely not. I
good.
intend to teach my 9th grade English and my AP literature students just like always.
And just sneak those trips in.
Exactly. Yes, I'll have probably as a same substitute coming in, and it will be an adjustment, but I think the students will also benefit from the stories, the narratives that I bring back, and be honored as well.
Sure, and they'll feel like they were part of the whole process, which they were. You've gotten, speaking of honors, lots of honors from not only the Minnesota educators, and too many really to detail here, but you could look her up on the website, but also from Sweden. And there's a connection that wouldn't necessarily, come to people's minds. And not just Sweden educators, but the King of Sweden. So I just learned his name. It's Carl Gustaf.
That's right.
And the award you got, and I want to read this, is the Royal Order of Polar Star, which is a national Swedish honor, correct?
It's actually an international award.
It's international?
Yes.
Okay.
The King bestows this honor on 10 recipients across the world for the promotion and for the encouragement of Swedish language and culture. So after I graduated from Gustavus, Adelphus College, there was the opportunity, first of all, to be the first certified Swedish teacher in high school in Minnesota. And then I became the director or the dean of the Concordia College Swedish Language Village. And I've been there 43 years. And the King took note of that. And so we have students who come from all over the country to learn Swedish. And that fit the description. And so in 1988, I was honored with a medal that I actually wear in my native Swedish folk costume at various occasions. So I had the opportunity 2 years ago to go to the palace also and speak with him again as part of the Board of Trustees for the American Swedish Institute. So I've actually met him 4 times.
Oh, fun.
And interestingly enough, my daughter, Karina, came along, and he was more interested in asking her about teaching preschool. She's a teacher as well in Minnesota. So he's very interested in the American education system as well. So delightful person.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you must be Swedish.
I am of Swedish and Slovakian heritage. And so my passion to become a teacher was twofold, both Swedish language as well as English. And my third passion is gymnastics coaching as well.
Right, I should have mentioned that too.
Yes.
And were you a gymnast yourself?
I was brought up before Title IX impacted in 1972. So I
Sure.
graduated from high school in 71, and Title IX came about in 72. So
You just missed the...
we just missed it. So there
Yeah.
was no girls' competitive sports at
Right.
all. So when I came up to go to college, I was shocked that Gustavus had such a rich tradition in gymnastics as well. So both of my 2 teaching positions in Faribault at the junior high school and then Eden Prairie, starting in 1977, involved a contract which gymnastics coaching was a part of. So we actually became the National Gymnastics Team of the Year, and I was National Gymnastics Coach of the Year 2 times in the early 90s.
So is there some real helpful transference between teaching a sport and teaching a language?
Absolutely. I will oftentimes use vocabulary from Swedish or from the gymnastics world to help explain words in English. For example, I might be teaching the vocabulary word esoteric, right? And in order to understand that, I might mention some words that were indicative of high-level gymnastics, and students would be, wait, what's that? They might know a cartwheel, but they might not know something like stick a landing, for example, or your rotation isn't quite. And so then I'll have students in my classroom who are hockey players who will give us some jargon that's specific to hockey, or skateboarders or something of that effect. So I have the opportunity not only to engage those esoteric words I know that have to do with Swedish vocabulary or have to do with gymnastics, but then I invite the passions of my students to also teach me as well. Even though I might know something, I might not.
So I want to ask Linda kind of a burning question I have, and that is, if you were in your analytical self and looking at your award, what do you think about you was deserving of the award?
Wow, that's a very interesting question.
We're told not to brag in the Scandinavian culture,
yes,
but you can
absolutely. Well, I think people are fascinated by the longevity. I
Yeah.
mean, this is 5 decades, probably maybe 12,000 students, perhaps.
49 years. I don't think I even told
Yeah,
them
49
that.
years of teaching. And many people ask me, when are you going to retire? And I could have retired 10 years ago with full benefits. So the question then is, why do I teach? And
What keeps you going?
what keeps me going? And people want to know, what is it about students that have changed over the years? What is it that you can still bring to the classroom in this age where there are so many new challenges which we hadn't even dreamed of 50 years ago? And I think I must have some kind of message that people are interested in hearing. In other words, how do we keep young teachers in the profession? And what is it that is still giving me the desire to, and the feeling that I really have something still to give after all these years? And what message is it that I would like to impart on new teachers and students?
Now, Linda, you have thrown out about 5 questions.
Have I?
And I want to hear the answer to all of them,
Oh.
but we've got to take one at a time here before we have more questions. And I can tell your mind is going, which is wonderful. But I want to go back to, I think, your second question, which was, what about you do you think is the key thing here that keeps you going?
When I open that door every morning and students are there, they are curious. I'm curious. I want to hear their stories. They want to tell their stories. Mm-hmm. Those same characteristics of being an avid learner I see in my students, and I find a way to awaken those passions, whether that be a passion for language, for literature, for a sport, and tapping in and giving them the opportunity to learn more about themselves and to give them hope. I think that is the key, is when they leave my classroom, I think they feel like they can do anything. And
so
I often say,
boosting self-esteem.
Yes.
For one big thing.
They want to know that they matter. They want to know that they belong. They want to know that they're part of a community and that they have a purpose here. It's like in the Barbie movie, that wonderful song, "What Was I Made For?"
Yes.
And I often say to them, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I see, whether it was students 50 years ago or my students just in June, that they have that burning, that fierce desire to matter and to find their purpose.
Do you think that is different than 49 years ago? Has that part changed in terms of looking at the students?
I don't think so at all.
Oh, interesting.
The haircuts are different, the music is different. Information is right there on their fingertips. So we as teachers must not just be disseminators of information. They can find so much on a Google search. So it's not the most important thing in the classroom to feel that we are just imparters of knowledge. I think that's what's most important, is that we give them the opportunity to feel identity, feel pride, feel that there is hope. And for me, that learning relationship, the classroom, is absolutely, I think, one of the most powerful places on this earth to garner hope. And my message really is that we can't surrender that hope, and I see that we have hope there in the classroom.
I'm sure the kids love that, you know, who wouldn't, right? When you think about the hardest thing about being a teacher in a high school today, the hardest thing for you,
Yeah.
what would you pinpoint?
The hardest thing might be to balance that technology that is such a strong, can be such a strong distractor, and the attention span may often be a byproduct of that need to find something so quickly. But I find that putting down the phones and not settling for just bursts of information quickly, but finding ways for them to dig deep and find where their passions lie allows that sustained interest. Whenever I can do that and get them to talk to each other and to welcome every single person to have a seat at the table, the feeling that if you were missing around that table, something greater would be missing. So the community building, and in literature, taking stories from long ago where there were still some of the same common fears and anxieties and loves, showing that we're all part of this journey.
What is your favorite piece of literature in terms of drawing from it usable and inspiring ideas today?
Well, wow. I would say that when I talk to students after the class is over, whether it's my ninth graders or my seniors, their love of something that they thought they would never be able to grasp, Shakespeare, right? Because they're up on their feet, they have maybe some foam swords, they begin to see the language come alive, and they begin to see that those stories transcend time and that they can do it. I also really, really enjoy teaching stories that I can awaken a parallel text to today's world as well.
Right.
So when we can see a connection with Toni Morrison's Beloved, or even, let's say, The Hate You Give, and find even lyrics, Taylor Swift lyrics. We've got Charles Dickens, The Best of Times, Worst of Times, and a Taylor Swift lyric, The Best of Times, the Worst of Crimes. I mean, the kids begin to see this in their world and come into the classroom and say, oh my gosh, look at this. This is actually relevant today too. That just really turns them on.
Do you find other teachers come to you at coffee breaks, things like that, and say, the kids seem so excited about your class, what are you doing? I mean, is there a little bit of, sharing in that way, or do people kind of stay in their own little silo?
No, I love learning from new teachers. I love asking them once they say, we heard you do this to introduce Romeo and Juliet. You do this great activity with what's in a name. And then I say, and what do you do with, let's say, a work that maybe I haven't even read in there that they do differently. I do, let's say, Frankenstein, another teacher does Dracula. So I look for what those new teachers can bring to me to refresh my curriculum as well. So I would say there's a very balanced sharing. And in this age where we want teachers to stay in the profession, I think it's important that they know that they might not come in with years and years, but they come in with a fresh insight that they are so happy when I say, I tried your activity and it was marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's great. In terms of a disruptive student, this always struck me as, how does a teacher go about handling this? A disruptive student, maybe 2 or 3, in a class though of all the rest of the kids are really irritated by that child or kids, and they want to learn. What is your remedy for that kind of a scenario?
Find out what they love. Find out what they're passionate about. Find a connection, even if it is reading a sentence. Let's say we're working on commas, and instead of inserting what's actually in my head at first, maybe put Yusuf's name in the sentence, or maybe put Angela's name in the sentence. Find a way where they feel like they are seen. I think they want to be
perk
seen.
Up, I bet, when they hear their name.
They perk up. They also want to tell me more. So I might see that someone has a Metallica t-shirt, and I say, you know, my first rock concert was the Grateful Dead, and they can't believe it. But all of a sudden now, I'm acknowledging that Metallica
Right.
t-shirt. I'm asking about what
Right.
music they're into. I think when they feel that they are seen, that they are heard, that they have a voice, that there's a bridge, that again, they're welcome to have a seat at the table, that disruption might just be a way for them to say,
I want more
call
attention.
me, call me, right? And I believe that teaching isn't a profession, it's really a calling. And people ask me all the time, why did you become a teacher? And I always say, because I fell in love. I fell in love with learning, and I fell in love with curiosity, and I fell in love with stories.
You know, I looked back last night at some of my other interviews with Teachers of the Year.
Oh.
Because I've been doing it for years,
Yeah.
like 14 or 15. And some of the other early teachers, too, also talked about the calling.
Oh.
And I thought that was interesting. I mean, it's sort of a word I think of as a word in the religious world, or sometimes the political world. But I wouldn't have penned it as a teacher-related word. But you did, and they did, and I thought, this
Well, I
makes sense.
actually see the classroom as a sacred place. I
Yeah,
really do.
I remember you wrote that.
Yeah, and I feel like whatever story we're talking about, whether it's a short story or a novel, or even I ask a student, tell me your story, tell me your name story. Why were you named Hamza? Why were you named Muriel? That oftentimes what those students will do is they will begin talking about their culture and their history and their desires for balancing a language that is spoken more natively at home and also sharing it with me as well. And so finding out what they love and my sharing my stories and my vulnerabilities allows this really very, very special, almost sacred connection to be our brothers and sisters and others' keepers. And that's really what it's about. It's relationships.
So
Yeah.
sacred space, calling, that all kind of fits together. We have just a few minutes left, but
Yeah.
I wanted to see if you could wave a magic wand, Linda.
Oh.
What you might want to do with our education system in Minnesota. Would there be things that you'd like to put in place that aren't, or reinforce some that are? What would you? It's a big question with a,
Yeah.
need for a fairly quick answer, but off the top of your head, what would you say?
I would say that we have the most important opportunity to tell people that there's hope. And in the classroom, there is a place to instill hope, that we are one of the places that we can give students an opportunity to feel that there is that hope. I think when we ask what their fears are, I think it might just be that they feel that their lives are not going to have that purpose that maybe they see someone else have. And so what I would like to do is have us all work together. I know it maybe is a cliche, but it does take a village. From the moment that child gets off the bus and walks through the hallways and comes into that very, very special place of the classroom, goes home, sits down with their parents, reading with their parents, all of us together. We stand on very, very giant shoulders. And I think education and the welcoming of that atmosphere to give us hope, that's what I would like to have us feel, that this is so important, that we do everything we can to welcome and to give children the opportunity to find out what it is that they can give to become part of this wonderful family of community.
Well, on that very positive note, I want to thank you for coming down. And
Oh, thank you so
it's
much,
really
Mary.
nice to learn from you and to learn why you are the selected teacher this year, which is quite obvious, but
Yeah.
isn't it obvious? Congratulations again, and
Thank you.
as you kind of spread the message of hope,
Yes.
I think people will all over the state pick up on that, because it's a hard time right now for
Yeah.
a lot of people, and hope kind of is super important, I think, right now.
Yeah, I think there is no better place. I really believe we can't surrender the classroom. We have to give them every opportunity to feel like they really matter, and their voices
Well,
are absolutely necessary to bring us forward. People
Getting
often talk
that
about
from you.
roots. We give them wings.
Well, that's a good way to put it, to end with it. Well, thanks again.
Thank you,
and,
Mary.
have a great summer, and go back invigorated again, right?
I'm very blessed and very honored and humbled, and I will do my very best to share that message of hope.
Great. We need it. Thank you for being with us. It was wonderful to get to meet Linda Wallenberg. If you missed the very first intro part, she is the Teacher of the Year for Minnesota, and a joy to interview, right? Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
See you again next week. Have a good week. Bye-bye.